So film music concepts, it's all about communication styles. And if you've ever worked in an office or on a film set or any environment where people have to collaborate and talk with each other, you'll know that the people who do the best are the people who have a great communication style. The people who can talk to everybody and explain what's going on, either as a group or as individuals, so everyone is on the same page, everyone is pulling in the same direction. And when we're making a movie, whether in pre-production or post-production or marketing, the language of film is what we all have in common, and that's your baseline. So even if you're not a naturally outstanding, charismatic communicator, you can speak in the language of film, and everybody in all the departments will get what you're talking about. So the collaboration becomes on the level of story and drama instead of the specific technology and craft. Now, sure, if you want to learn all about lenses and talk with the cinematographer about what lens choice that you'd like, well, you know, that probably will work. But it'll work just as well, maybe even a little better, if you just say to the cinematographer what you'd like in the shot and how deep the shot should be. You just tell them that sort of thing, that what you want to see, they'll figure out what lens to use. And it's very similar with music. If you happen to understand about melody and harmony and rhythm and orchestration, maybe you're an amateur musician, it's perfectly fine to try communicating with a composer and people in the music department using music. But we're perfectly fine and really appreciate it if you just say, okay, this scene is about Joe. Joe is about to embark on trying to answer a question that really is important to him. And Joe is a very determined guy, or Joe is a very timid guy. That kind of explanation, and just that long, 2 or 3 sentences, is plenty for an experienced film composer to run with it and come up with something that's not only in the ballpark, but also alternatives. And I see someone has popped in a question about what is the best way to obtain music rights. And we are going to get to that, but I'm trying to do this in a structured way so we can start at the beginning and go all the way through to the end. And the reason we're doing that is that I've been a producer on quite a number of films in different genres and of different budget ranges, from millions of dollars to zero budget. And the number one issue is getting it across the finish line. There are so many productions that have trouble getting started, or they get through part of production, or they finish production but now they can't finish post-production. So I want to give you an outline of how to finish the thing. Start at the beginning, get to the middle and to the end, and you've crossed the finish line. And music rights are something that we're going to come up to pretty soon. So next slide, please. The functions of film music. Now, we're kind of getting into the director's toolkit. How to tell the story and evoke emotions. That is the top level function of film music. We're going to go through several different categories. You don't have to know all of these, but it is good to kind of at least been exposed to them, because many people, including experienced directors and experienced producers, haven't had a chance to explore all the things that the music department can do for your production. So I'm going to kind of go down this list of categories of all the different things that you can use music for. And some films you use almost all of them, and some you might only use a handful. So, well, start at kind of the overall vibe, creating an atmosphere, geographic, like, okay, we're in North America, or we're in the tropics, or we're in a forest. Audio is a great way to set up your location wordlessly and in a few seconds. Also, it can set the social setting. Like we're in high society in New York City, you know, a party in a penthouse. Well, even before you pan over to the window and see that that's where you are, the music can tell you that you're in high society. Also, ethnic groups. If you want to evoke the atmosphere of rural China, that has a very different sound than rural United States. So again, music can establish that. Historical period, that's really important if you're doing a historical drama, or if your documentary is covering history. The sweep of time can be a little bit challenging to do just with pictures, but music can really help smooth that out by saying, okay, now we're in the 1700s, and this is the kind of folk music or pop music that you hear in the 1700s. And even if you're not familiar with it, just the vibe, the sound of it, floating behind the images will tell you that, okay, we're in the 1700s, and oh, now we're back into the 20th century, or wherever you are. Then after the atmosphere, you have characters. And of course, documentaries have characters too. You know, all films tend to have all of these categories. They're just presented different ways. And you want to bond the audience to your subject, to your lead character. And by bonding, I mean that they feel connected to them, that they like them. I want to know more about them. And music is excellent at doing that. If your subject or lead is a great charismatic actor, might not need as much music, but even with them, the good actors like to have a theme that supports them, because they know that that will always be there to help define what their character is, and whether you're liking them, or you're ambivalent about them, or whether you dislike them. The music can set that up, suggest that right away, and continue it through the entire picture. And that's really important, because you want the audience to leave the theater, or finish the program feeling like they were connected, they were bonded to at least one of the characters in the documentary. So that way they could tell all their friends, oh, this was about Sue, and Sue was amazing. And you know, that's what many filmmakers hope for.